I often get emails from people, or all sorts of way we communicate these days. But I often get emails from people asking me to pray for them, and um, I'm not often sure exactly what they want me to do. Look, sometimes the need is very clear that they want prayer for, for healing of the body or in their relationships or for accommodation, all sorts of things. Sometimes the need is very clear. Uh, and they want me to pray, to intercede, get between them and God and to plead their case as such. Um, they want me to present their need. But do they, I wonder, truly know their deepest below the surface needs? Like sometimes needs are very obvious, but underneath, there's actually often a deeper need that um, wants to be met. I I also wonder at times if they are paying attention to how God might answer those needs. And I think there's like three ways in which God may answer the prayer need. One is it may be yes, and in exactly the way that they would like it to happen, um, which I think is actually quite rare. Or it might be yes, but in a completely different way. That's more often. Or it may be no, or not yet. And that happens a lot too. And that we want, people want me to pray that God will do certain things for them, and God has a bigger picture than that. Um, I also wonder whether they will return to God and give thanks and worship to God, even if the answer that they receive may not be the one that they actually wanted. Or that will they be like those 9 out of 10 that kind of ignore God who gives freely. And I think of Jesus healing those 10 lepers in the Bible, and how only one of them came back and thanked Jesus for it and worshipped him for it. Look, as you can see, I ponder over a lot of things when people ask me to pray. And the followers of Jesus once came to him and asked them to teach them how to pray. And this was his response. Look, whenever you pray, don't be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners so that others may be seen by them. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And when you are praying, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do. Oh my goodness, I've heard empty phrases. Oh, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh no, no, no. Don't be like them, Jesus says. For your Father knows what you need before you even ask him. And then Jesus goes on to this famous, or just the way we should pray. Jesus says, pray then this way: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. Also, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And do not bring us to the time of trial, but rescue us from the evil one. Matthew 6, 5 to 13. So when when people ask me to pray for them, I pray in the context, I think of what Jesus was saying. I hold this prayer that he taught us to pray as a kind of template of intimacy that Jesus is pointing us towards. So let's put you into this prayer. So I'll kind of put your name, and sorry, don't, as you read or you listen or you watch this, I'm not going to know your name. So let's just call you John, okay? It could be Jenny. So I'll put you into this particular prayer the way I think I could pray. God, you are perfect, loving, and intimate parent that welcomes John or Jenny like a little child. You surround John. Reveal yourself to Jenny. May your full symphony of colour and light dance around John. Set Jenny's world right, the way that you always intended it to be. Do what's best for you, God. We don't always know precisely what that is, but we trust you to get it right. You have a larger story going on that John is a part of. Meet Jenny's every need, even those John doesn't even know they have. Forgive John for his wandering focus away from you. Help Jenny forgive others. May Jenny learn to live lightly and freely. Keep Jenny and John safe. Keep Jenny and John close to your presence, like a little chick under its mother's wings. Alert John and Jenny to any devilish distractions that would shift their gaze away from you. For you have the whole world, including Johnny and Jen, in your hands. May Johnny and Jen know this deeply and grow in trust. There you go, Johnny and Jen. Whoever's listening, yeah, just put your name there. And if you wanted, you could read this. If you come over, there's a link in the bottom for reading this post. Another prayer that can be used as a template for our prayer is that of Psalm 23. And the Psalm 23 is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare before me in the presence of my enemies. Prepare a table. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever, my whole life long. Psalm 23. So let's insert John and Jenny into that psalm. Good shepherd of the flock, may John and Jenny surrender their sheep-like self into your care. Help John and Jenny to realize that you supply their deepest wants and needs. May John and Jenny submit to those times you want them to quietly rest and ruminate on your goodness. Help John and Jenny to know you're leading alongside places where they might like to stop. Restore, revive, renovate the dryness of John and Jenny's soul. Lead John and Jenny on the right paths and keep them off the wrong ones, because who you are and your reputation is at stake here. When John and Jenny are in a dark place, help them to see you are walking them through it. There is an end to it. Help them to trust and find comfort in your direction. Sorry, I'm just lost my place. Help them to find your direction and shepherd's oversight. Help John and Jenny to see that you prepare ahead of times flat places, tablelands, where they can rest and recover safely. May John and Jenny's life have an oil of healing poured over it, so they know your overflowing love for them, that it then flows out of them and touches others. Because of all of this, John and Jenny know that there is a level of goodness and mercy touching everything they do and forever. May John and Jenny quietly keep listening for the assurances of the Good Shepherd. So there's another John and Jenny. Something else I pray for is millimeters. We often want like the really big changes, but in reality, I've found in my life and the life of other people that it's changes are made up of thousands of little millimeters. You see, I believe God loves the smallest of mustard seeds. For example, if someone asks me to pray for the healing of a mental illness, I may well pray for the small nanometer connections in the brain, that the little places within the very structure of the brain would begin to change, that medication and maybe other therapies would begin to help in the very smallest fragments. I pray for small, believing in big. I'll say that again. I pray for small, but I'm believing in big. Finally, can you pray for me? If you'd like to pray for me, then pray with the broadness of these prayers that I've just offered. Perhaps then God might lead you to like a millimeter focus point to pray for me. Would you like me to pray for you? Well, please feel free to send me an email. The email address is barry@turningthepage.co.nz. Here's some quotes. Our spiritual life is not limited to a set time and place of prayer. Rather, it involves all of our life, every moment of our existence. Joyce Rupp. One can no more pray too much than one can love too much. Victor Hugo. We are unfinished creatures, longing, reaching, stretching towards fulfillment. We express these desires for completion in prayer. Eugene Peterson. Prayer is openness to God in faith. It is allowing the life of God to flow into and through us. This is the faith that we receive as a gift when we turn in openness and trust to God. David Benner. Prayer tills the soil of the soul and unearths the clods of stories that lie beneath the surface. Dan Allender. There certainly must be some who pray constantly for those who will never pray at all. Victor Hugo. Questions. What happens in you when someone asks you to pray for them? That's number one. Number two, when you read the prayers above and inserting your name, which particular part of the prayer grabbed your attention the most and why? Number three, what would it be like to focus down in your prayer life to millimeter prayers or even nanometers? Hope you found this helpful. If you want to be in contact with me for either to pray for prayer, please email barry@turningthepage.co.nz. And at the bottom of the post, there's links to all sorts of good things. And you might like to join up my email list, and there's lots of free books and courses that you can access by becoming an email subscriber. Hey, until then, I pray that you would pray those prayers with your name in them. Okay, thanks, bye.